Good evening. We begin tonight with breaking news. A major 7.6 magnitude earthquake has hit central Japan in the last hour. The epicenter is on the coast of the Sea of Japan, with a tsunami warning now stretching the entire length of Japan's west coast. The biggest dangers are in Ishikawa, Niigata, Toyama and Yamagata prefectures, where a rare major tsunami warning is in place. Waves are expected of up to 5 meters.
While the rest of the world was still basking in fun of the new year, a very shocking event just took place in Japan, leaving the entire nation trembling in its wake.
Earthquake.
And despite initial warnings of an impending disaster, no one expected that it could be so massive. This rather tragic event has left thousands of Japanese homeless in a blink of an eye, forcing humanitarian agencies both within and outside Japan to spring into action. But what exactly happened in Japan that has left the whole world in a state of complete shock and confusion? And what could have caused Japan to become hit by this humanitarian disaster? Join us as we unravel the terrifying event that just happened in Japan that has left everybody in shock. The unexpected disaster. A strong earthquake has just rocked central Japan, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake and claiming the lives of at least 4 people. The powerful tremor not only demolished buildings, but also plunged tens of thousands of homes into darkness by cutting off their power supply. The Japan Meteorological Agency, JMA, reported a preliminary magnitude of 7.6 for the earthquake, which caused waves approximately 1 meter high along the west coast of Japan, and even reached neighboring South Korea. The aftermath was thousands of Japanese citizens forced to spend the night in evacuation centers and tons of road networks completely destroyed. Adding to the chaos, the affected region experienced more than 50 aftershocks, intensifying the sense of unease and uncertainty among the people. The situation remains tense as the community grapples with the aftermath of this impactful natural disaster. Japan sounded the alarm bells when a powerful series of earthquakes jolted the west coast of Honshu, the country's main island. What followed was a situation of complete chaos as buildings crumbled and a raging fire ignited in Wajima City, Ishikawa province. It's a real nail-biter, as the exact toll on human lives that's been lost to the disaster still remains unknown. Now, imagine the tension in the air as the JMA dropped the tsunami alert bomb. Ishikawa got the highest level warning, while the rest of Honshu's western coast and even Hokkaido only got a heads-up there might be trouble notice. It's like the ocean decided to join in on the chaos, threatening waves up to 3 meters high. But the drama was far from over as more heart-pounding aftershocks followed. And seemed likely to continue in the coming days. The JMA, working round the clock, detected more than a dozen quakes rocking the Japan Sea off Ishikawa and nearby regions shortly after 4 p.m. As the hours ticked by, the initial tsunami scare was dialed down a notch, but the caution lights were still blinking. Coastal residents were advised not to head back home just yet, as potentially harmful waves could still make an unexpected entrance. In the midst of all this drama, at least 6 homes took a hit, leaving people trapped inside. There was chaos in Wajima City, especially as an uncontrolled fire raged and added to the mayhem. The numbers tell a story of their own. Over 30,000 households left in the dark as electricity got cut off. It's almost like the entire situation is a real-life disaster movie, with Japan being on high alert and strongly urging its coastal communities to stay put on higher ground while keeping their eyes peeled for whatever could possibly come next after this initial mayhem. Eyewitness accounts. Imagine being on a snowboarding holiday amidst the breathtaking Hakuba Alps in Japan when suddenly your entire hotel room starts to shake. This was what happened to one snowboarder on holiday, Baldwin Chia. He shared his unsettling experience with reporters, also expressing his concern about potential avalanches. Despite the heightened awareness of earthquakes in Japan, actually experiencing one was beyond anyone's expectations. Across the country, Briton Andy Clark recounted his nerve-wracking day, describing the events as being a scary afternoon and evening. He found himself in the coastal city of Toyama when the quake struck. Desperately clutching the sea wall to stay upright, he eventually sought refuge on a school roof for safety. What followed was a scary few hours that proved challenging for him as well, with sleep being nowhere in sight due to the persistent aftershocks. Even on the opposite side of Japan's main island in Yokohama, Jeffrey Hall, a lecturer at Kanda University, felt the tremors for a considerable 2 minutes. Addressing reporters, he emphasized the gravity of the quake, describing it as very, very serious. These first-hand accounts paint a vivid picture of the unexpected and intense nature of the unexpected seismic event that disrupted the tranquility of Japan's diverse landscapes. In a footage captured by local media in another province, a building dramatically crumbled into a cloud of dust in the city of Suzu. Simultaneously, a wide crack emerged on a road in Wajima, with anxious parents tightly holding onto their children. On the social media platform X, a witness shared a video of the Keita Grand Shrine near the coast in Hakui swaying amidst the quake, while a concerned crowd of visitors observed. The witness expressed her fear, exclaiming, "It's swaying! This is scary!" Traditionally, millions of Japanese visit shrines and temples on January 1st to herald the beginning of the new year. In the nearby popular tourist destination of Kanazawa, images depicted the remnants of a shattered stone gate-strewn at the entrance of another shrine as worshippers anxiously watched. Even in the mountainous terrain of neighboring Nagano province, the tremors were felt. A Taiwanese tourist named Johnny Wu, who was in Nagano for a skiing holiday, described the chaos. The snow from the electric wire came down, and also from the roof it fell down, and all the cars are shaking, so everybody was panicked, he told reporters. According to JMA official Toshihiro Shimoyama, there is a looming possibility of more strong earthquakes in the region in the coming days, as seismic activity has been simmering for over 3 years. As of Monday night, the Japanese government issued evacuation orders for over 97,000 individuals across 9 provinces along the western coast of Honshu, Japan's main island. These residents were directed to seek refuge in sports halls and school gymnasiums, commonly designated as evacuation centers during emergencies. Ayako Daikai, another resident of Kanazawa, shared her experience of evacuating to a nearby elementary school with her husband and 2 children immediately after the earthquake occurred. She described the scenes within the school, noting that classrooms, stairwells, hallways, and the gymnasium were bustling with evacuees. In a telephone interview with reporters, Daikai mentioned, "We are currently uncertain about when we will be able to return home." The gravity of the situation has led families like hers to seek shelter in these designated spaces, emphasizing the immediate need for safety and the unpredictability of the return to their residences. Scale of destruction remains unknown. The full scope of the destruction is still unclear, but signs of significant damage to the infrastructure are apparent. Authorities in Suzu City, Ishikawa Prefecture, reported the collapse of several houses and power poles, as detailed by Japan's national broadcaster, the NHK. Near the earthquake's epicenter, major highways have been shut down, and over 36,000 households are now without electricity, as confirmed by Japan's utility provider Hokuriku Electric Power. Rupert Wingfield Hayes, a former BBC correspondent in Japan who was reporting from Taiwan, described the scene where several hundred meters of the main expressway between Toyama and Kanazawa were torn apart by a landslide. Video footage from Uchinada in the Ishikawa province vividly captures the road's surface rippling and cracking. Additionally, images showcase the damage inflicted upon the Onohiyoshi Shrine in Kanazawa, painting a distressing picture of the aftermath and underscoring the widespread impact of the earthquake on both infrastructure and cultural landmarks. Initially, a significant warning of a potential tsunami was issued for the coastal Noto area in Ishikawa, situated near the epicenter of the earthquake. Authorities expressed concern that waves with the potential to reach impressive heights of 5 meters could impact the region. According to local reports, this marked Japan's first such warning since 2011, when a formidable earthquake struck the northeast, unleashing waves towering up to an astounding 40 meters in height. Contrary to the initial fears, the waves that eventually reached the Sea of Japan coastline in Ishikawa on Monday were relatively modest, measuring just a little over a meter in height. Subsequently, the initial major warning was downgraded first to a simple warning and then to an advisory. The neighboring Niigata and Toyama provinces also remained on alert. In the aftermath of the disaster, Japan received messages of solidarity and support from its global allies. U.S. President Joe Biden expressed readiness to provide assistance, emphasizing the deep bond of friendship between the United States and Japan. In his words, "Our thoughts are with the Japanese people during this difficult time." Similarly, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak of the United Kingdom extended support, stating that the UK was prepared to assist Japan in the wake of the disaster. He conveyed his sympathies to all those affected by the earthquakes in Japan, acknowledging the considerable damage caused. Japan's long history with earthquakes and tsunamis. Nestled along the Pacific Ring of Fire, Japan stands as one of the planet's most geologically active regions due to its convergence with multiple tectonic plates. This unique positioning subjects the nation to a constant risk of an earthquake. In response to this enduring threat, Japan has ingeniously crafted an advanced tsunami warning system, making it a global leader in disaster preparedness. Interestingly, within the vulnerable zones lie several nuclear power plants, yet authorities assure the populace that there is no imminent danger of radioactive leakage from these facilities. Even in the face of potential destruction, Japan's commitment to safety and technology remains glaring. Notably, the seismic event prompted not only Japan, but also South Korea's Meteorological Agency and Russia to issue warnings about the looming possibility of a tsunami. Experts have said that the collaborative efforts of nations in the region underscore the shared responsibility in preventing the impact of natural disasters. Looking back at the catastrophic 9.0 magnitude earthquake that struck Japan in 2011, the consequences were devastating. The resultant tsunami wreaked havoc on the northeastern coastal communities, claiming the lives of nearly 18,000 people and displacing tens of thousands. The tremors of this disaster were felt beyond the natural realm, as the powerful waves triggered a catastrophic nuclear meltdown at the Fukushima power plant. This incident remains a somber reminder of the potential consequences of natural disasters, marking one of the most severe nuclear accidents since the infamous Chernobyl incident. Nuclear plants. It's no secret that Japan has one of the highest number of nuclear plants in the world. So, in the wake of the earthquake, Panic surged as locals feared the tremors could trigger a massive explosion. To address the rising fears, Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida conveyed to reporters his urgent directive to search and rescue teams late on Monday night. He urged them to employ every conceivable effort to preserve lives in the aftermath of a recent earthquake. The challenging conditions, marked by obstructed roads, posed great challenges to accessing the areas affected by the quake. In response to the tragedy, the Imperial Household Agency declared the cancellation of Emperor Naruhito and Empress Masako's scheduled New Year appearance on Tuesday, underlining the gravity of the situation. But what was more interesting was how this seismic event added a layer of complexity to Japan's nuclear landscape, stirring memories of the 2011 earthquake and tsunami that triggered catastrophic nuclear meltdowns in Fukushima. The aftermath of that disaster witnessed entire towns laid to waste, leaving a permanent mark on the collective consciousness of Japan as a nation. In a noteworthy development just before the quake, Japan had recently lifted the operational ban on the massive Kashiwazaki-Kariwa nuclear plant, the largest in the world, which had been offline since the 2011 tsunami. This move comes amidst persistent local opposition to the country's nuclear industry. But despite the seismic activity, the Nuclear Regulation Authority assured that no abnormalities have been detected at nuclear facilities along the Sea of Japan. This includes the assurance that the 5 active reactors at Kansai Electric Power's Ohi and Takahama plants in Fukui Province remain unaffected. Notably, the Hokuriku's Shika plant in Ishikawa, situated closest to the earthquake's epicenter, also already ceased operations for routine inspections before the quake occurred. Whilst speculators have already begun to spin wild theories, the Nuclear Regulation Authority reported no impact on this facility, demonstrating that careful safety measures are constantly in place even during unforeseen events. Tsunami! Evacuate! After the earthquake struck, a vivid yellow message flashed on TV screens, urgently instructing residents in specific coastal areas to evacuate immediately due to a potential tsunami. Wajima, a town of approximately 30,000 people known for its beautiful lacquerware, witnessed the collapse of at least 30 buildings, with flames devouring several structures. The seismic tremors even reached Tokyo, 500 kilometers away on the opposite coast. As of late Monday, approximately 32,000 households in Ishikawa province were grappling with power outages, as reported by Japan's Hokuriku Electric Power. The situation was compounded by the impending drop in temperatures to near freezing levels overnight in certain areas. Tohoku Electric Power disclosed that 700 households in the neighboring Niigata province were still without power. The disruption extended to the transportation sector, with West Japan Railway revealing that around 1,400 passengers remained stranded on 4 bullet train services between Kanazawa and Toyama cities. The impact on infrastructure was equally glaring as one of Ishikawa's airports had to be closed due to runway cracks, as confirmed by transportation authorities. Responding to the crisis, Japanese airline ANA redirected planes scheduled for Toyama and Ishikawa airports, while Japan Airlines canceled the majority of services to the Niigata and Ishikawa regions. Experts are now warning that Japan could see more earthquakes in the coming days, especially as the tremors persist. The entire nation, therefore, remains on high alert for any impending disaster. Do you think the next earthquake could spell more doom for Japan and possibly even wipe out the country? Let us know your opinions in the comments below.